Welcome back, and a couple of top stories at this hour. While we had Axis Bank's numbers largely in line with expectations, we also have the Vikram-1 launch, which is in process. And we have with us now Mr. Ratan Srivastava. He's a fellow Atlantic Council and past advisor, FICCI Space, joining us. How significant, sir? Give us a sense. Private sector participating in the space sector now.
Thank you for this. Thank you for inviting me to the show. It's a historical day. It's a milestone in the space journey of India. And we could not have even imagined about, let's say, 5 or 6 years back that there would be a private sector entity launching a rocket which has been indigenously made from end to end, being launched from India, from Indian soil, from Sriharikota. It has been possible due to many policy changes, regulatory changes, the role of InSpace and ISRO. And the best thing is this, that it is all being supported and incubated and mentored by ISRO. Without the support of ISRO, the private sector effort would not have been able to reach where it has reached today. It is creditable because Pawan and Bharat both are ISRO engineers, and they left ISRO in 2018 to form Skyroot Aerospace. And Skyroot Aerospace has been primarily been their baby from day one, from Mission Arambh to what they are doing today is Mission Agman, which is the launch of this vehicle. But I would say it's a historic day. There are many entities, many people responsible for this. But then the effort of the Indian youth and the Indian engineers is creditable. I mean, the average age of Skyroot Aerospace is just 28 years.
And give us a sense, Mr. Srivastava, what is it that ISRO is providing to some of these private players to allow them this freedom to go out and launch, right? What's the capability that the private players currently have versus ISRO?
So, as I said, ISRO is the backbone behind it. ISRO is the mentor behind it. ISRO is the engineering talent. ISRO is also providing, I would say, guidance, validation, exhaustive, I would say, reviews of each and every aspect of the engineering design which has gone into it, because this is an amazing piece of engineering. There's a completely carbon composite structure. It's a 4-stage rockets with 3 stages of solid state fuel, which is actually a new technology, because to separate the solid stage fuel, solid stage motors, you need generally pyrotechnic boosters. But here it is, we're going to have a pneumatic boosters. We're going to have a liquid engine, which is 3D designed and 3D manufactured Kalam engine. The Kalam engine itself, the liquid engine itself has 4 stages, wherein you can thrust up, thrust down. You can put several, I would say, several passengers into the orbit. Think of it as a delivery van, which is going from place 1 to place 2 to place 3 and delivering. That is not possible ever, because we just reach an orbit and we, deposit the load, and then we try to put it into the orbital space. But here, the liquid engine can do that job. So amazing piece of engineering, possible only with the experience, the guidance, and the, I would say, talent management of ISRO and the facilities of ISRO. If we are launching it from Shah today, we are launching it from a space facility which is manned, owned by ISRO. But also ISRO is trying to set up another facility for small launches in Tamil Nadu, which will be primarily owned by ISRO, but will be operated by the private sector. Because at the end of the day, we are trying to get a niche for us in the launch market. And in the launch market, we want to be a part of the global space economy, in which we can offer, as and when required, launch capacity, launch capabilities, say up to 500 kilograms of small satellites. It is a huge market. Think of Rocket Lab of US, for example. So you'll get an idea of what I'm trying to say here.
Got it, Mr. Srivastava. And Meryl D'Souza also joining in on this conversation. So I just want to understand for you, you described ISRO as the backbone that is facilitating these private players into space developments in India. So I just want to understand, can India's private space companies now emerge as global competitors, or do they still need the hand-holding to some extent from ISRO?
So Meryl, that's a fantastic question, and I would like to put it to some context and perspective to it. See, as I said earlier to Harsh as well, that just about 5 or 6 years ago, we couldn't have even imagined that we would be putting a rocket at Shar, which was privately manufactured end to end. But it is happening today. And if you can see in the audience itself, you have all the past directors of ISRO. I mean, Dr. Radhakrishnan is there, Dr. Somnath is there, and of course, the current chairman himself is there. Uh, Now, these are baby steps. We have reached a stage where we are using a facility of ISRO to launch it. Probably at some point in time, we need to have the facility of owned by private sector to launch these vehicles. Infrastructure is required, funding is required, and this is the first test launch. Please understand, this is the first orbital test launch. We are still very far away from having multiple launches, probably a launch a week or a launch on demand. But at the end of the day, if this also would have not been possible if there was not, I would say, policy and regulatory reform. The role of in space cannot be completely, forgotten. It is in space which has done it. In space has three directorates: the promotion directorate, the technical directorate, and the authorization directorate. All these directorates are chaired by ex-ISRO officers and engineers. So I think we have just begun. We have to do the capacity building. We need to have the infrastructure. We need to have the funding support. And obviously, as we move forward, more regulatory reform as well.
For sure, Mr. Srivastava. We've just cut into a live visuals from the launch itself.
Right. Let me again go across to Mr. Srivastava. Give us a sense. Okay, we've just about 20 seconds from launch actually, yeah, and therefore those live visuals coming straight to us. Let's go across.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And we have liftoff of Vikram-1, India's first private orbital launch vehicle. And we have great views coming from the tracking cameras. And isn't this quite something?
Vikram-1 ने अपनी उड़ान भरी, प्रथम चरण का प्रज्वलन प्रारंभ हो चुका है। Vikram-1 ने प्रक्षेपण पथ को लांघकर आकाश को भेदने का निर्णय ले लिया है, एक ब्रह्मास्त्र की तरह।
That's very true, Sriyashan Akhil. I am awestruck at the sheer power that stage 1 is producing. With this, we have two of our major prime mission objectives completed, which was successful ignition and safe tower clearance.
That's right, and we're coming up on max Q now, which is the period of maximum aerodynamic pressure, where the vehicle faces its largest aerodynamic loads as it flies through this zone at Mach 1.5 at an altitude of nearly 9 kilometers.
Vikram-1 ने सफलतापूर्वक मैक्स क्षेत्र पार कर लिया है और दल काफी उत्साहित है इस समय, और विक्रम-1 प्रथम चरण के आगे बढ़ रहा है और हमें श्रीहरिकोटा व पोर्ट ब्लेयर पृथ्वी स्टेशन से मजबूत दूर संकेत मिल रहे हैं, जो बहुत ही अच्छी खबर है।
That's right. We are at a downrange distance of 22 kilometers with an altitude of 34 kilometers. And on your screens right now are excellent onboard camera views from the vehicle.
And we can also see quite nominal chamber pressure values on the MCC screen.
The vehicle is currently at an altitude of 50 kilometers.
और यहाँ पे प्रथम चरण का प्रतिकरण हो चुका है और द्वितीय चरण का प्रज्वलन भी प्रारंभ हो चुका है।
This is quite a major achievement for the nation, with the vehicle successfully separating stage 1 and the ignition of stage 2 as well.
द्वितीय चरण अपना सफलतापूर्वक कार्य पूरा कर रहा है और प्रथम चरण का दहन अथवा प्रतिकरण समाप्त हो चुका है।
The vehicle is at an altitude of 89 kilometers, traveling at 2.6 kilometers per second. Of course, our target velocity for today is 7.6.
S2 performance normal.
We've just heard call out that the S2 performance or the stage 2 performance is nominal.
ये एक ऐतिहासिक क्षण है पूरे भारत और निजी अंतरिक्ष यात्रा का।
This vehicle has crossed 100 kilometers of altitude, which is the notion of edge of space. And we have reached space, guys.
Congratulations, Vikram-1 is in space.
हमारा यान अंतरिक्ष तक पहुंच चुका है.
And we've had callouts of separation of the payload fairing. We have successful payload fairing separation.
It's nearly at an altitude of 120 kilometers, and the protective fairing is no longer required and has been cleanly separated from the launch vehicle.
और यहाँ पे द्वितीय चरण का भी प्रतिकरण संपन्न हो चुका है और तृतीय चरण का प्रज्वलन भी प्रारंभ हो चुका है.
That's right, Akhil. We've had successful ignition of stage 3. The vehicle is currently at 157 kilometers above the Earth's surface. It is 355 kilometers downrange, traveling at nearly 4 kilometers per second. Now, the telemetry will switch over from Shar to Port Blair and further to Bogor.
अब यान अपनी अंतरिक्ष यात्रा पर निकल चुका है. तृतीय चरण का प्रज्वलन चालू है और उस
+4 minutes.
की प्रतिक्रिया नियमित रूप से चल रही है.
And as you can see on your screens, we have near exact following of the intended trajectory. The two lines on your screen essentially indicate the current performance of the vehicle, and it closely matches with prediction. This is on your screen on board from stage 3. What you see is the rocket plume and the nozzle, and Earth, our home.
What a beautiful view. क्या सुंदर दृश्य है हमारी पृथ्वी का.
S3 performance normal.
और तृतीय चरण का परफॉर्मेंस अब नॉर्मल है, या कि सामान्य रूप से तृतीय चरण का संचालन प्रारंभ हो चुका है और चल रहा है.
That's right. We've had call out that the stage 3 performance is nominal.
+5 minutes.
So stage 3 has a propellant loading of 2.5 tons, and we've had burnout of the stage 3 motor as planned at
S3
T plus
burnout.
5 minutes. Yes, we've gotten confirmation that S3 has burnt out, and now we're entering a planned coast period, something that lasts for 140 seconds, in which it's called as combined coast.
Coasting is normal.
Right, so we've got call out that the combined coast is nominal. This will last for roughly 140 seconds, where stage 3 is not producing thrust, but it's connected to the vehicle and it's going to coast as a single body. All of this is done to manage the altitude of the vehicle and also control where the stage will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere before splashing in international waters in a safe and planned manner. And jubilant views from the Launch Control Center, where the teams are extremely elated and excited.
और मिशन नियंत्रण केंद्र और लॉन्च नियंत्रण केंद्र से आपको दृश्य दिखाई दे रहे हैं. सभी यान परीक्षण दल अत्यंत ही प्रसन्न हैं और यहाँ पर जो प्रसंग है वो एक उत्सव का प्रसंग बन चुका है. एक ऐतिहासिक क्षण भारत के निजी अंतरिक्ष उड़ान का विक्रम-1 यान अब अंतरिक्ष में स्थापित हो चुका है. तृतीय चरण अब अपने कोस्ट फेज पे है और ये कोस्ट फेज अभी आप कैमरा व्यूज देख सकते हैं अपने प्रक्षेपण पर्दों या मोबाइल स्क्रीन्स पर, जहां पे आपको धरती का एक सुंदर दृश्य दिखाई दे रहा है.
As we can see on our screens right now, it's really amazing to see that Vikram-1 as of now is going along its intended trajectory exactly as expected. Our plots are really overlapping. The predicted velocities and the current flight velocities are exactly matching. And aren't you guys speechless right now?
I mean, yeah, मेरे पास शब्द ही नहीं है. मतलब ये मैं निशब्द हो चुका हूँ.
That's right. We are approaching another point wherein S3 will separate.
S3 is separated.
और तृतीय चरण का प्रतिकरण भी हो चुका है.
And you see wonderful views of S3 separating. And now we have combined coasting has ended, and stage 4 will now coast on its own for the next 130 seconds. So stage 4 will now fly on its own, essentially. And
The control thrusters on the OM will be
S4
continuously
posting
turning
normal.
on and off to maintain the attitude of the stage, making sure that it is pointing the right way. This also ensures that the antennas can maintain connection with the ground station and the satellite can be pointing in the right direction.
that's right. So one unique thing that has been done during separation is we've essentially fired all 4 of our Raman mini thrusters to sort of push stage 4 away from stage 3. And that just sort of guarantees that there is some minimum separation between the two.
Well, wonderful visuals, right? So stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, all 3 successful. Mr. Srivastav, initial thoughts, that's one. Second, would you treat this as pretty much a success now that stage 3 has been completed? The thrusters are off. At what point do we call this a success?
It is a success. I mean, where's the doubt about it? It's a historic moment and a very proud moment for people like me who have been involved in the India's space journey and trying to transition the private sector. I mean, I was brought into FICCI to from my corporate job to support the transition of private sector into the Indian space in the Indian space ecosystem to move forward from being vendors to being partners. And it's a proud, emotional moment, in fact, to see the Indian rocket made in the private sector fly flawlessly, absolutely flawlessly into space. And when it crossed 80 kilometers, and that is the edge of the space, to 120 kilometers, that was such a beautiful journey. I mean, I could see the plan vector and the actual thrust was absolutely in sync. And now that we have the stage 4, which is a liquid propellant, and that also has the Raman engine has 4 stages, and it's a completely 3D printed engine, which brings it to the forefront of technology. It's a very proud moment for us. And it is, of course, a success. But I am sure you are aware that we're going to have another flight sometime later in this year before they start the commercial operations next year.
And I'm told stage 4 complete as well. The satellite is now in orbit. So
Wow.
yes, I mean, it's big news coming our way. Mr. Srivastav, again, from a larger space program perspective, what does this mean now for India? Will this likely encourage more players to come in and participate in a bigger way?
It's like this, that the India's space requirements for a country like India are massive. I mean, we are not able to even reach out to the let's say even a small part of the potential that we have in the country. And I mean, this is just one part of it, which is the launch vehicle. Another startup in India, which is Agnikul. Probably you've heard of Agnikul. Agnikul is also ready with a launch vehicle. Probably they'll start. They've already done a suborbital launch. They'll be probably doing an orbital launch later this year. So we have all the sectors in India being fired up by the private sector, especially the startups which are being mentored, guided, and reviewed by the ex-engineers and ex-scientists of ISRO, launched by them, and the retired scientists are supporting them, mentoring them. So launch vehicles is one. Skyroot has just given you a perfect launch. They will do another test flight before they start the commercial operations. Agnikul is ready with another launch vehicle, as you probably know. As I said, they've done a launch. We have to have ground segments. We need to have launch facilities, the infrastructure. We need to have the software, the code for it. All this, has to come across together as one entity. And I think from where we were, maybe 7-8 years back, with just 4 or 5 startups to 400 plus startups today, and as we know, Skyroot itself is a unicorn. It's been a very exciting journey, but I would say the challenges are greater than what we had probably thought. in terms of financing. Finance support is required, regulatory support is required, but I have full faith in the engineering talent and the enthusiasm of the engineers and the scientists, which have been supported and incubated by the entire space ecosystem in India. A word about the IIST, the only space university that we have in the country, which has been which has been sort of a nursery for talent for the space engineering industry in India.
Mr. Srivastav, we're at an important inflection point. The dependability on ISRO is, of course, immense even now. How many years before that dependability or the extent of the dependability starts to go down dramatically? Is it going to be a 3-year journey, a 5-year journey, a 10-year journey? Today, the US does this independent of NASA, right? A lot of the US startups, or now many of them now mature companies. How long for India, in your opinion?
See, you cannot replace experience with anything, right? So experience is something which probably is right now resides only in ISRO. And you talked about the US. I would say if you are looking at US, whether it is SpaceX or it is Blue Origin, they're all probably, the effort is supported by the ex-NASA engineers and scientists. So I think that kind of expertise, which is resident in these old space agencies, is something which is going to take time before we can actually say we can do it on our own. Probably you can't put a number to it, but probably as we gain more and more experience, more and more traction, there would be a gradual easing over of the influence of the earlier, I would say, generation. But that guidance and mentoring is absolutely, I would say, invaluable today.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Srivastava. And this is